You know what? Yeah. Let's watch the Mandaloregaming one first. It's F.E.A.R review. Since people did... Bro, people, like, recommended me to play F.E.A.R. Yeah, you know what? F.E.A.R sounds like something scary! Henceforth, I will not be playing that, bro. So I will rely on other YouTubers who played it and, you know, see their reviews as Bible, probably. Okay, we're gonna be watching Mandaloregaming for the first time. I've been hearing a lot of like Mandalore. I've been hearing references from Mandalore like a few days recently already. So we're gonna watch one of his videos of F.E.A.R. Let's go.
F.E.A.R is a game that's up front with you. Look at the cover. It tells you everything. No, not that part.
That is so fucking scary.
F.E.A.R was primarily advertised as a horror game, and it is, but not as much as you'd think. You wouldn't know that from the marketing, since about 80% of it was based on showing you the girl from The Ring, or The Grudge, or whatever. So then what is F.E.A.R about?
It's PvP?
It's about this. Hey, wait.
Bro, they have, like,
there's also a spooky little girl. She's pretty scary.
Fuck.
Right?
No. Hell.
I was pretty intrigued when I first saw the opening of F.E.A.R. It's very moody, it's dark, and I have no idea what's going on. At least they explain what's happening pretty quickly. There's a company called Armacam, basically the Kmart to Umbrella's Walmart, and they've made an army of clone super soldiers, but they've recently lost control of them. This is because the army gets its commands telepathically from a psychic, and for reasons unknown, he's gone nuts, and the replicants are slaughtering all the staff of the company. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. So the commander, named Paxton Patel, is eating bodies in the lobby, and the mall cops aren't able to stop him. So like most big companies, calling the police is their last resort.
Right.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. This is why nobody takes us seriously. Military clones.
The first responders are a group called F.E.A.R. They're a special forces branch that protects America from the supernatural and paranormal. Because they're founded by Kent Mansley, or because being a federal Ghostbuster is silly, no one takes them seriously.
I'd send one of my boys, but I think we need a specialist for this one.
Your mission is to find and kill Patel. When you do, the replicas should shut down. It starts simple, but we'll get back to the story later. Let's stick to talking about the visuals. This game is about to be 12 years old, but I still think it looks pretty good. This is because of a combination of a few things. For the time, the textures and objects are top of the line. People used this to benchmark their systems before Crysis came out. But it was at the top 12 years ago, so how does it hold up? It's because the game shines, or sometimes doesn't, at lighting. It's kind of amazing how just having dynamic lights makes it look so much better. When you see the game without them, like when we'll talk about Perseus Mandate soon, it looks terrible.
So cool.
For the most part, the art direction's pretty simple, but the lighting is what gives it that edge. It makes even a simple, blocky room have some atmosphere. It's also a gameplay element. The game doesn't have any trick shadows. If you see an enemy shadow, it means there's one there. Seeing how F.E.A.R is a game of cat and mouse, this can be pretty helpful. But besides being helpful for the combat part, it's also essential for the horror element. If you see a shadow, something's there. It's such a little thing to have that adds so much. If you're quick enough, you can even see what's making the shadow. Check this out.
Stop. What are you? So, oh my god!
Thought I saw something there.
Shut
Let me try it
up,
again and slow down the footage.
God damn it.
Creepy. Lighting and reflections help this game not age, but there's something else. That's where you bring in the particle effects. The lead designer mentioned that the visuals were inspired by John Woo's Hard Boiled and John Woo films in general. Let's look at a shootout from Hard Boiled. This tea house is getting trashed. There's papers flying everywhere, there's smoke, bloodstains all over the floor. I think they're all clones, too. Let's compare that to shooting only one guy in F.E.A.R.
what the?
Unlike a lot of shooters, you can tell where there's been a fight. There's no just leaving bullet holes. It's not possible. But they didn't stop there either. The designer thought watching The Matrix was a good idea too.
Oh, that's pretty detailed. What year is this?
Slow-mo is pretty. Let's talk about the game. This game is a first-person shooter that teaches a very valuable lesson right when you meet the first enemy.
Kill them on sight! Kill everybody!
You are never alone. You have the ability to slow down time, but this is countered by exceptional AI. It's basically a legend at this point, and like all legends, there's truth and some lies. If Dragon's Dogma taught me anything, it's that wolves hunt in packs, and it's no different here.
Dragon's
Replicas always
Dogma
fight you in a
mention?
squad, and they seem to use teamwork.
Damn! They have better AI before than like now?
Despite being clones,
Just
they actually have a lot of character. You can listen to gauge how they're doing.
Must be the wind. Huh?
These guys move as a
Must
team,
be the
so if you're
wind.
focusing all your efforts on one, another one could
Just
pop you
like-
pretty quickly.
Ooh.
There's also the fact they use the environment to their advantage. They might break through windows, rappel in, bust through doors,
Bro, they're
anything.
kind of smart. Damn.
Instead of doing that one-handed swing over a barrier that a lot of cover-based shooters do, they might dive out of the way. They might throw furniture and boxes over for cover. This guy throws an entire shelf over and all the stuff goes flying off of it. When they think I'm not looking, one of their buddies even tries crawling under it. That's pretty impressive. The highest difficulty says it's only for veterans of the series, but that's a lie. To really appreciate these enemies, you need to be playing on it. Your
Holy
mistakes will get
shit.
punished, but it feels like you're fighting a worthy enemy.
Oh. Oh.
Before I get too far into why I love these enemies, I should talk about what you can do. Well, they give you an arsenal to fight these guys. Plus, you know, the slow-mo.
Whoa. Oh, that's
Besides
pretty,
your standard
that's
military
pretty
weapons,
sick.
F.E.A.R gives you some pretty neat stuff, but sadly you won't be getting most of them until past the halfway point. When I first played it, and even now, I was really impressed by the particle lance. They could have had them just get
Damn,
burned.
look at the
They could have had them
disintegration.
just disintegrate into a little ash pile, but not Monolith. All their flesh is burned off in a blood mist that goes all over the walls and floor, and all
That
that
is
remains is
so
a black
cool.
burned skeleton,
That is so cool, bro.
and the skeleton's being electrocuted. This is why I
Why does
recorded in 60 FPS.
Why do they leave it behind? Why do
You can also get
leave
explosive
behind?
weapons like grenades, remote bombs, and landmines, and their effects are pretty good. But that's really the secret.
Damn.
There's not really a weapon in the base game that's super unique that you've never seen in a game before. It's how they present them.
Damn.
If you've played other shooters, you've probably used an SMG before. But here's how F.E.A.R makes killing an enemy look.
It's released in 2005.
But you're not limited to guns. They don't let you see your feet just to be immersed. Not only can you slow down time and use experimental weapons, you're also a martial arts master. What's even funnier is that they fly like you're on the moon when you hit them. Your attacks are based on whether you're moving, crouching, jumping, sprinting. It's all there. It's ridiculous, and I love it. Of course, this is only my second favorite first-person
Pretty good
shooter,
on
because
its
Dark Messiah
time.
exists.
Holy shit.
Now that's in the list.
So
what makes people say that this game has the best enemy AI even 10 years later?
Yeah.
Well, the truth is, it's good, but there's a lot
I feel
of
like
tricks.
it's still good.
It's not
like,
the most advanced AI ever. That's a lie.
compared to,
Despite
like,
internet
you
urban
know?
legends, the AI isn't really that advanced.
Oh,
The
really?
genius behind F.E.A.R is that the level designer and the AI designer were probably holding hands the whole time they were making it. Most of the game takes place indoors, in offices, abandoned warehouses, factories, that kind of thing. But for the most part, they're never enclosed. Rooms will usually have multiple entrances with railings, cover, furniture, all sorts of things filling the room, but next door could be empty. This is where that cat and mouse thing I talked about earlier comes into play. Because most of these complexes might circle back around on each other, the enemy has a lot of routes to take. It could view a window as a doorway and just break through that instead of taking a door far away.
A lot of
the main
future,
excitement for these fights doesn't
moves.
come from the enemies themselves, but more about the environments they're in. What's in
That's
the
pretty
current
cool.
space, along with the neighboring spaces, decides how the fight
Yeah,
will flow.
the fight
Verticality
flow,
can be
yeah.
important here. And the game knows that just shoving more men out a doorway won't surprise you. Changing the environment will. See, them breaching that door just changed everything. There's a reason people think this,
That's
though.
why they
It's
look
not because
smart.
the bad guys use Alienware computers.
Check the upper floor. Yes, sir.
Technically,
There
if
it
you are
is. F.E.A.R
enclosed.
uses a ton of audio callouts. In another game where someone would say he's behind it, they were specific. Here's some examples.
Behind the sofa. Behind the
Damn.
shelf. Behind the couch.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty detailed. That's so cool.
Behind the planter.
What is this music though?
Behind the door.
Hey, 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 hey,
AI
hey.
didn't always react to your situation, but the game at least called out what you're doing. This trick made the AI go from good to godlike in the eyes of players.
Yeah.
Search this area.
But this is a game review, not an AI analysis video, which
that's so
there are
cool.
plenty of,
What
by the
the
way. So the enemies feel
hell?
intelligent, and I like that. Let's move on. Speaking of moving, you'll be doing a lot of walking around.
Yeah, but like it's easier to probably plan or like program the AI in a way if it's always an enclosed space, right? Yeah, maybe that's why we don't see them like recently now, since maybe a lot of like level designs are usually very open area or like open world as well. Super hot. What is the super hot? Fear used to be really good until they turned the scary child into a naked adult woman? Wait, is that the story of Fear 2? Who wanted and got to get pregnant and they made that pre-order stuff? What the hell? What the hell, bro? Fear tree. Oh, that's
All right,
scary.
I should talk about the horror part. As far as visuals go, Fear has some pretty mind-bending
skip
segments
that
here.
part, sir?
But for everyone that's pretty good, they also have some really cheap stuff.
Nuh-uh.
But the stuff that is good is really
so
good.
slow.
And it can come out of
No,
nowhere.
no.
The game might also set you up
I
with
don't
long
want-
hallways, or it looks like a jump scare will happen, but it doesn't
I
come.
don't want-
This makes the scares unpredictable, as what you might see as
I
a
don't
classic
want-
setup doesn't pay off.
Stop!
That was weird. Hey, this body here looks pretty messed up. When's it gonna jump out at me?
Jin, we need you up here.
Oh, I guess it was nothing. Even though there are some times where you know you're in a horror segment, it can start at any time.
Yeah,
Between
yeah,
firefights or just
yeah,
walking around
yeah.
looking for supplies, anytime. This means that besides worrying about Django Fett and his friends showing up, you also have to be worried about ghosts. Or something.
Yeah.
You can see where I jumped there. From a story standpoint,
Shut
it's not clear just how
up!
much of what's going on is really paranormal. Did I just see a ghost or
my-
weird corporate Camino technology?
What the fuck was
This
that,
is a
though?
concern, because the replicants don't just have rifles. So instead of just seeing something odd and
Oh
moving
my
on
God.
from it, you have to wonder if it's something that's going
is
to come and kill you a few seconds later.
Fucking acrobatic piece of shit.
It makes you always concerned that something is out to get you. And this lasts the whole game as the replicas bring out more of their weapons and you see more strange things. This is top-notch tension building, but it adds something else to the gameplay. See, you can find upgrades to increase your maximum health and bullet time, but they're scattered around. Sometimes you might just find them in a closet, other times it looks like they're sitting in hell. You want that upgrade, right? Look, there's another one. Just go down that hallway and get it. You want to beat those bad men, don't you? If someone likes the combat of this game but it scares them, they have to face their fear to get the upgrade.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's a
have to
pretty
pass,
interesting way of
sorry.
doing things. You already don't know when shit will go down. Going off the path just makes it even more likely to happen.
I'm closing my eyes on this one, Chief.
You would think this
At
would
least
mess up
they're
the tone, but
slow.
it doesn't. It all works great together. So is Fear the perfect shooter? Well, before I go into the full story details, I'm going to talk about some problems it has. Like I said before, I love the replica enemies. I like the fact that they roll around in armored cars and also high Ds. Like the company went and bought some surplus stuff from Eastern Europe to move them around. Not overt sci-fi stuff that would draw attention like the sequel. They're just neat enemies, and I like fighting them. But there's some problems with repetition and pacing here. Every area you're in feels like you're there a bit too long. Because of how the AI works, you're almost always going to be indoors. The offices in the middle especially drag on forever. The firefights remain interesting, but there's also a lot of walking around just investigating or avoiding turrets. They try to make it less mundane with side
my
objectives
lord.
and little set pieces, but it's not enough. Or it could be enough if this section was just shorter. The only break you get is nightmare sequences. They also try to mix things up a bit by having you fight some corporate security, but why? These guys are terrible. They don't have the character of the replicas. I think this is an attempt to make the clones not feel too repetitive, but they have a lot of variations, they just space them out like crazy through this level. I'll explain in a bit how some of these problems make extraction points stronger. When you get past the offices, there's good fights to be had again because things are being shifted around. But there's only so much you can do.
Thank you so much for the raid, Bear. Thank you. Change topic. Is Fear a decent max pain? I played. Wait, what is the latest Max Payne? I played the latest Max Payne. It's pretty good actually. Is it because of the dead eye? Are you talking about the Matrix? The Matrix sequence? Because Max Payne also has that one, right? Albert! You're watching a F.E.A.R commentary video. Yeah! El Shadow, hello! That was F.E.A.R 3. Jesus. They have the third one? What the hell?
Cubicles.
I guess.
Even with all the good level design, there's a lot of fights that feel the same we had again because things are being shifted around.
Hopefully you had a good stream, Bear! Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it so much. Past there's the good fights to be had.
There's only so much you could do with cubicles. Even with all the good level design, there's a lot of fights that feel the same. Different layouts aren't the best if things still feel the same way. You can have an amazing fight with something as bland as a stairwell in this game. So keeping themselves locked up was a mistake. There's a lot of neat stuff and enemies to be found, but they just pile it behind this big office section. It would be a lot better if it was shorter and paced out with more efficiency. The story can also get a bit muddled here due to phone messages and data being recovered. You have the option of recovering data and listening to voicemails, but they're in different times and from different office workers. It was a bit confusing trying to understand who was becoming a character through these messages or was just some random person leaving a message. And I do get what they're trying to do having you find messages out of order, but there's already a lot to figure out and it seems like unnecessary filler. Good news is that all the horror sections do mean something and aren't just random gibberish to be spooky. If you don't want spoilers, go to here.
Sir?
Good to go? Okay. The spooky little girl is named Alma, and she was Wayland Yutani's last project. After not doing too well against the Viet Cong, America realized it needed to communicate with its soldiers better in the field. So it contracted Armacam to make psychic soldiers. Well, they're not psychic, they get their orders telepathically. No spoon bending.
Okay.
And so a scientist named Harlan Wade started experimenting on his daughter for the project.
On his daughter? Holy
But after
shit,
she started psychically attacking staff, they decided to change the plan. They put her in a coma, artificially impregnated her, and had her bear children that would be the new experiments. Paxton Fattel was one of these kids.
What?
It went well until he was 10, when Alma used her David Blaine bullshit to connect to him. When their minds were linked, Paxton killed about 7 people. This being the final straw, they unplugged Alma's life support, buried her deep in a vault, and hoped she would die. And she did 6 days later. What's happening in F.E.A.R is that her ghost, or spirit, or whatever, is reconnecting with Paxton even though her body is dead. So it's just like the first synchronization event, except this time Paxton has an army of super soldiers. So the army is being controlled by Paxton, and directly through Alma, to take revenge on the corporation that tortured her. It's actually a pretty typical ghost story. Except the ghost doesn't make you trip, it sends the GSG-9 to come kill you. So she just wants to take revenge, and... Oh yeah, one more thing.
She's not-
You're a
Oh my
kid.
god!
What? How?
She's
Why would
not
they do
like
that?
the kid there.
Are you crazy?
Holy
He just
shit.
transferred in a week ago.
You've seen his training results. His reflexes are totally off the charts.
To explain
I'm
your
a
slow-mo powers?
son!
You didn't really need to do that. Just saying he has really good reflexes would have been good enough. All it does is raise weird questions like why is the point man even in F.E.A.R? How did he get away from the corporation? Then there's this black screen phone call after the credits.
There is some good news, however. The first prototype was a complete success.
Is this the S3 plan for Metal Gear Solid 2, but different? Is it called the Point Man Protocol, or PP? Well, I hope not, because PP is that disgusting Asari from the new Mass Effect, I think. It does explain the weird hallucinations since you're reliving your birth and Alma's trying to make a connection with you. It's also good for creating a personal connection with the villain, but it's done last minute and it's done so sloppily. But this is where good horror movies at the time all needed a big twist or reveal, so they probably want to do the same thing here. It's not terrible, it just feels vague and last second. Okay, now I'm gonna trick anyone who skipped spoilers. Shh. How could I know the replicas were all supposed to be female? Were they bulking?
They're female?
So that's it. That's all of F.E.A.R. The main game.
Damn.
We still have 2 expansions to cover, but first let me tell you about timelines.
Oh my god.
Monolith made the main game, but the 2 expansions are made by a company called Timegate Studios. So the expansions Extraction Point and Perseus Mandate were made by them, but aren't considered canon anymore. But the games in DLC Monolith made are considered the real timeline. If you want to sort the games by which character you play as, it gets really confusing. It supposedly went this way because of story contradictions.
These ones look like they're not really horror anymore. Like the expansions aren't really for horror no more. It's more of a shooter now. I must go to bed for work. Hope you had a wonderful day and amazing stream. Thank you so much, Bear. Good night. Sleep tight. Check the darkness FPS. Darkness? I think I hear.
But I don't remember any, really. I'm pretty sure Perseus Mandate is to blame, and we'll get to that soon. We'll start off with Extraction Point, because that was the first one, and it's my favorite one. Not that garbage. Yeah, here we go. The game starts right where the last one ended. It's basically just the next level. But what's that? Is that a church? Yeah. There's barely any offices in Extraction Point, so right off the bat it's not as repetitive as the main game. And because we're writing off the climax of Fear, we're seeing all the good stuff now. The first game built all the subtle tension. This is just more payoff. But it's more than just a level pack because there's new stuff here and it's great. Door bashing is in and it makes moving around a lot more fun. They added a sticky turret to your equipment, which is good for hordes of enemies. Like I said, this is all an escalation of the first game, so there's way more enemies to fight. A few segments are basically war zones. That might not sound that impressive, but after you've been fighting only around one squad at a time, it's something new. But when you do return to something like an office, they change things around.
Is it horror? Oh, look at all of these. Dead. Oh, okay. Damn, okay.
The new weapons are amazing.
Damn.
Now there's only 3 including the turret, but the ones they did add were what the game needed. Anyone who played the game and didn't wish for a minigun doesn't know how to have fun. If you're a weirdo and don't like that, there's also a laser.
Damn.
Now, they could have just added these new weapons and been done with it, and people probably would have been happy, but they didn't. The weapons all come from new enemies, so if you want them, you have to beat them. It's a pretty cool way of introducing this stuff since you have to fight against them first. But there are some other new enemies too.
Holy.
There's a great amount of new variation here. That's why I like it more than the main campaign. On top of that, TimeGate made some improvements to the AI, the technical graphics, and some other aspects. This is F.E.A.R. Crusader Extreme. It amped up everything good about F.E.A.R. while taking away most of what was bad. You can still get similar fights to the first game, but they're just improved. The best fights of the series are in this game, even against the regular enemies.
Damn.
It's rougher though.
Oof.
If that wasn't enough, not only the action is better than ever, but the horror is also there too. We have a special guest here to tell us more.
I'ma have to pass. Stop. Stop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stop.
They pull out a lot of new stuff compared to the first game. Even when they pull out a trick you've seen before, they do a pretty good job at subverting your expectation.
Stop. Stop. No.
The visuals are wilder than ever, and there's more and more paranormal stuff that's out to kill you. It does lack subtlety compared to the predecessor, but it's still a blast to go through. So Extraction Point is better in almost every way, except for the story.
Oh. Good night.
It's hard to tell what's
what the hell?
happening. Your mission is to escape, but the background paranormal stuff isn't really explained. It at least built up to something in the first game. That doesn't happen here, it just stays vague. Whatever it is made Monolith mad. This man's not canon. It's only about 5 hours long, but it's time well spent.
5 hours long.
I really, really wish I could end it here, but I can't. I have to talk about this garbage now.
Why does he hate there's more to this armor camp situation than we thought.
Armor camp
There already a
situation.
F.E.A.R. team on the ground.
That's right, Steve Bloom. We don't need to be here, but we will. So you and your squad are sent into the city to investigate. The story takes place during the events of F.E.A.R. 1, so you know what'll be happening. But you are playing as a brand new character who also has slow-mo.
Oh.
That makes me think. The first thing you'll notice is how awful this looks. F.E.A.R. 1 wasn't exactly throwing up Skittles on Power Ranger dolls, but my god is this gray. There's barely any lighting either, so they really look bad. The previous games used dramatic lighting to hide the shortcomings, but here it's all over the place. Here's a street from the first game. Look at all the lighting. Look at all the stuff around. It looks like a city. Compare that to Perseus Mandate. This looks like a mod. I don't think that building has a texture on it. The game has never looked this bad, and it's the most recent entry. Everything just has this really cheap feel to it. The buildings outside are already pretty bad, but look at the helicopter itself. We've been in nicely lit helicopters before, but not here. Besides looking terrible, it's making more mistakes right off the bat. The AI was designed to fight against one person very well in very certain environments. Here you're finding them in more open areas with 2 squad mates. Move! So everything is the worst until you get separated from them. The first new weapon you find is the grenade launcher, but you'll never want to use it. They have an explosion radius that goes outside the visual effect of the explosion, and the grenades bounce all over the place, so you'll just end up killing yourself most of the time. It's not just because I play in the hardest setting. These are one-hit kills on any difficulty. The beginning is a slog of cheap assets and those mall cop enemies. It's not
What
until you
year
go
is
into a
this,
corporate
though?
building that things change a bit.
Got all your fingers and toes.
You did good, Sergeant.
Yeah, but they're back. It's amazing how cheap it all is, considering they could have recycled stuff from the first game. But then, you fight something new.
Ooh. Ooh.
They're high-tech mercenaries. They're called the Night Crawlers. They look like something AMD would put on a graphics card box. Their gun is really disappointing too. It's not a real night vision scope, it just tints your screen red. What a waste.
Damn.
I could forgive all of this if they at least brought some character.
Or a good story, probably? I don't know.
They don't even scream, it sounds like they bumped their arm on something.
Roger. Take cover.
They don't give a shit. You can call clones a lazy enemy all you want, but at least they have some enthusiasm. Yeah, lab-grown clones are more hyped up about the battle than these guys. The bad guys don't even have Alienwares anymore, they have regular Dell computers.
Bruh.
The other team has confirmed that the point of Perseus was to train telepathic commanders to work with clone soldiers.
The other team confirmed that? I thought we learned that in the intro. I found the final new weapon early on, maybe this will have some character, or something cool. Are you shitting me? That's
Not
it?
even a
Is this a
one-hit
parody?
bro.
Oh, fuck. So the story is the mercenaries were paid to break into the bad guys to steal some stuff, and we need to stop them. 95% of the game is trudging through boring environments. F.E.A.R had an issue of some boring areas, but at least the story was pushing you forward. Here it's nothing since the intro showed you the answers to all the mysteries. Some later environments got a lot better out of nowhere, and I was wondering what happened, and then I realized they are levels from Extraction Point backwards. In a later level, I got an error that I was disconnected from the server. This game doesn't even check if you're online. I wanted to just stop
Is it
playing.
even
and call it a day, but
online?
I saw there was a fix, so I'd feel guilty if I didn't do it. It really wasn't even worth it. After exploring an underground lab and getting the samples, the ending is just them saying, "Good job, you did it."
Good job, soldier. Bad guys have been defeated.
Team's gonna need a new
The
lieutenant
end.
after this.
This was so phoned in. The new enemies I found didn't have good designs, and they broke the F.E.A.R rule of, if you shoot it point blank in the head with a shotgun, it dies. These guys don't. So after 4 hours of gameplay, was there anything worthwhile?
No, don't jump scare me, please. Please. Stop.
Just a little bit. There is a segment
don't
when you're in an
want-
underground area. Everything feels
I
like the
don't want
series
it.
again.
I don't want it. Stop. 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 Stop.
It's like they remembered how the lighting in this game works and it looks good again. And there's creepy stuff down here too.
Stop. Stop. I don't want. Pass. Ew. What in the Silent Hill? What in the... Stop. Oh my god. This looks like Silent Hill,
It's pretty clear where all the effort went. That said, they rely a lot on screamers.
Stop. Don't scream. Yeah, boy. Oh. Stop.
Okay, I get it. Hell is
Close
loud.
back.
They did add an
Hell
unusual enemy that hides in the floor, but you can
Guys,
see
I'm
where
not
it hides.
scared no more. Let's go.
So for
I've
the times you can't just
matured.
walk around his house, you just pull out your shotgun and
Not
dive
that I
in.
close my eyes. That's for sure. I don't scream no more. I feel
Come
like
on.
that's a maturity.
So is a playthrough worth it to experience the creative segments?
That's maturity, bro.
Absolutely not. I can't stand looking at this game anymore, so let's wrap this up. This game did come with multiplayer, but it died with GameSpy. It's called F.E.A.R Combat, and you can find a standalone
F.E.A.R
version online
Combat.
for free. It's competent, but I
Wait,
didn't see
it
anything
is
special in
online.
it like the single player, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. One of the things Perseus Mandate did do was bring some updates to the multiplayer, so that might be all it's worth. It was shoved out the door since the sequel came out 2 years later, but still, this was the same group that made Extraction Point. Something went wrong. I'm pretty sure it's the sole reason the expansions aren't canon, but it doesn't matter too much because if you buy the main game on Steam, you get the expansions for free.
Well,
Pretty
that's
nice.
good
This
enough.
is an absolute steal for $10, and you should get it. There's
That's
never been a better
good
time
enough.
to play, really. A decade ago, all the fancy effects made systems crawl, but today you can run it really smoothly. It looks great.
Pretty nice.
Do you know any other
game.
games where a guy's dead hand grip can set off a fire extinguisher? I don't, but if you do, please let me know. So that's F.E.A.R. By popular demand, Endless Legend is up next. Or
Endless-
PlanetSide 2 if their
Wait,
game update
why
comes
does it
out.
sound so
I'm kind of working on
familiar?
both, so we'll see what works out first. Thanks for watching.
Well, at least I don't have to play that anymore. Thank God about that. is scary though. I'm not gonna lie. Please don't touch
The
me.
enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand.
At least, well, pretty scary indeed. But I mean, good thing I'm not playing that shit for